Good morning, Dan. Dan, what confession were you making? You were singing something.
I was singing.
You were singing something.
You mean when the song was played? I was singing along to Kwesi Arthur's song.
Yes.
Oh, the song's lyrics go, I'm in love with you and I don't want nobody.
Yes.
It's not correct English. It means I don't want anybody.
No. I haven't asked you to correct it.
I thought you were correcting.
No.
I thought that was the confession, the correction.
No. How does that become confession? Yeah. So I was rejoicing because I'm in love with you. I don't want anybody. I was wondering, whoa, it has happened.
Oh, what has happened?
You still want me to go?
Uncle, when it happens, don't worry. The song won't be I don't want nobody. The song will be I feel where you are.
Oh, so is that why you played it this morning?
Oh, actually, well, please.
Oh, so it's already happened.
Oh, no.
Because you played it this morning.
Okay, so let me change the song.
Well done. Good morning.
Good morning, Uncle. How was your weekend?
Well, exciting.
Yes. And how rehearsals for I Want Your Wife?
Oh, we're doing very well. It's interesting. Somebody called my wife over the weekend and asked, Uncle, what was he saying? Whose wife does he want? So, well, I'm happy people are getting excited about it.
I am definitely excited about it. Can't wait.
But this, no matter how excited you are, it cannot come in match the reality of the play. Like I said, by the 20th minute of the play, people would have their mouth open, and it may stay that way till about 1.5 hours into the play.
Okay.
It's going to be an exciting one.
Amazing.
And then on Saturday, I met a man. His name is Reverend Jonas Kofi of Victory Bible Church. And he says he's been listening to this platform for over 20 years. The interesting thing is that when he hears anything exciting on this segment, he's able to pull off the road to make notes. So he has a notebook in his car.
Wow.
Yes, and he said he can pull off just to make the notes for that. So, Reverend Jonas Kofi, thank you, and many others like you. We thank you very much for your loyalty. Today also happens to be the birthday of a special young lady, one of the first people I employed in my company, and also one of my adopted daughters, Elsie Atiekunuku. Today is your birthday. Happy birthday, and may this be your best year yet.
And Uncle, well, let me wish a belated happy birthday to Ray Wilson and Yaminko. Ray Wilson is calling me out on Twitter for not retweeting and reading your message. Ray, apologies. You and JY Frimpong, belated happy birthday to you. And our birthday messages are brought to you by MTN 4G Plus. And for the highest internet speed and fastest connectivity, just choose MTN TurboNet.
And talking about belated birthdays, Saturday was also the birthday of Mama Dora, the mother of Victory Bible Church. Bishop Takiaboy's wife.
Yes.
The one who makes Bishop Takiaboy, Bishop Takiaboy.
I'm glad you put it that way. A lot of times we believe ourselves. But
No. So, Mama Dora, a belated happy birthday. We're happy we were able to at least share in the day with you. And then, beginning from today, I am trying to do something new. Food for Thought comes on radio to you, but I want to start something I call Food for Thought Live on Facebook every Monday evening at 6:30, in which we would take whatever presentation I have made and discuss it further and bring new angles. Because over here, Dan gives me just about 10 minutes or so, and I have to So Food for Thought Live on Facebook this evening at 6:30. It will only be on Monday evenings.
Okay.
Dan, what do you think will happen if government decided to make all Ghanaians equal financially by giving every Ghanaian the same amount of money? Government can easily do this by scrapping the current currency, the Ghana cedis and the Ghana pesos, and printing a new currency. Let's call it the new Ghana cedi. But instead of allowing Ghanaians to exchange their Ghana cedis for the new Ghana cedi, government just gives every Ghanaian 1,000 new Ghana cedis, irrespective of how much Ghana cedis you had. Within a week of every Ghanaian having the same amount of money, that is 1,000 new Ghana cedis, what do you think will happen? I'm sure that by the end of that day, some people will have nothing, and many of those people will not even be able to explain how they spend the money. Others would also have less than the 1,000 new Ghana cedis they had been given. But there will be a third category of Ghanaians, fewer by far than any of the two previous categories, who would have 20,000 new Ghana cedis and more, and they will continue growing their wealth every day. So why will some people lose what they have and others grow what they have? Answer: the majority of us have never learned how to handle money. You see, poverty is a lifestyle and a habit, and so is wealth. To move from poverty to riches, you need to first change your financial habits and lifestyle and your mindset. If you don't make that change, it does not matter how much you earn, you will still remain broke for life. Then the poor see money as something to consume. The rich see money as something to grow. Those whose first thought when money comes into their hands is, what am I going to buy with it? Tend to remain poor. Those who will get rich don't ask, what am I going to buy? They ask, how can I use this to get more money? An important company moved into a farming town in the western region. The company knew that its operations, whilst good for Ghana as a whole, would disrupt the farming activities of the town. But as a very responsible company, they came to terms with the farmers to buy their lands at very handsome prices. They offered each farmer more money than that farmer expected to see in his entire lifetime. Of course, the farmers were happy. Overnight, most of them had become rich beyond their wildest dreams. A few months later, however, most of the farmers were totally broke, and the community as a whole was in a worse situation than it was before the windfall came their way. What had happened was that most of the farmers, on receiving the money, had gone in for additional wives, and others had taken to heavy drinking, and others had spent their money on frivolous things. Very, very few had invested the money in anything that would bring them income. An official of the company said to me, quote, I regret that we did not give the community financial orientation before handing the money to them, end of quote. One of my favorite NBA players is Shaquille O'Neal. He is one of the few former players who did not blow away the money he made during his playing days. He has managed his wealth very well, and in retirement, he has a net worth of $400 million. It is reported that he is a joint owner of over 160 restaurants, 150 car washes, 40 fitness centers, a shopping center, a movie theater, and several nightclubs. And all these are in addition to the money he still makes from endorsements. But Shaquille O'Neal's story would have been very different if he had not learned from a mistake he made from his very first endorsement deal. It was in 1992, and he was just 20 years old. That deal earned him $1 million. And then he spent all that within 1 hour. He says as soon as he opened a bank account with the money, he went straight to a Mercedes-Benz dealership and bought a fancy Mercedes-Benz worth $150,000. He issued a check for it. When he drove the car home, his father asked, "Where's mine?" So he returned to the dealership with his father and got him to pick another one. And again, he issued a check for $150,000. In his mind, it was no big deal because 150,000 plus 150 is 300,000, and that should leave him with $700,000. When he returned home with his father, his mother also said, "I want a smaller version of the car." So he returned to the dealership a third time and got a smaller version for $100,000. In his mind, that should still leave him with $600,000. With his parents sorted out, Shaq went on a shopping spree buying a Rolex watch, jewelry, suits, and other luxurious items. A couple of days later, his bank manager called him to his office and showed him that his account had gone into the red to the tune of $50,000. Shaq was shocked. The bank manager informed him that he had not taken into consideration his agent's fee of 15% and the state and federal taxes. Then the manager advised him to get a business manager and to be careful with his money if he wanted to avoid the fate of the players who came before him, who had all gone broke at the end of their careers. Shaq learned the lesson well and got a good business manager. And the result is that in retirement, Shaq is doing very well. From his experience, Shaq says, quote, "It is not how much money you make. The question is, are you educated enough to keep it?" End of quote. Then Ghanaians complain about lack of money a lot. But until we educate ourselves on financial matters, and especially on how to handle money, no amount of money would change our financial circumstances. We complain that we don't have money, and yet we spend money more freely than those who are rich. We say we are a poor nation, and yet we live more expensively than any rich nation can afford to do. And then that is my presentation this morning.
The story of Shaq always inspires me on how someone can lose everything and use those lessons to build so much.
And he built it, and he's built a lot. I mean, for him in retirement, to be able to mobilize a net worth of $400 million, it's not easy.
Because even the mental fortitude to realize that I am not my money, I am my skill. So the more I develop my skill, my skill will pay me.
That's right. And you know, he's one of the he counts a lot, and yet, you know, by the time he finished his career, he had gone back to school and earned a PhD. So he is Dr. Shaquille O'Neal.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. If he was Ghanaian, he would never allow you to mention his name without the doctor. Or African at least.
He has a PhD. He has a PhD. He did a first degree. He did a master's, and then he went back.
Amazing
and
stuff.
did the same.
Amazing stuff.
The important thing is there are people, as soon as they get the money, as soon as money hits their hands, they are thinking of expenditure.
The money begins to send them.
Yeah, immediately they begin, I should get this, I should get this, I should get this. And Ghanaians do that a lot. So I have an exercise for everybody. Sit down and calculate how much money has passed through your hand from the beginning of the year till now. And you'll be amazed at how rich you have been, and yet how broke you are.
I always get a little heart attack when I'm paying my tithe because you have to multiply by 10. Like, wow, I actually had all this money.
Yeah. All that has passed through your hands.
Wow. Anyway, thank you very much, Aklebo, for joining us.
But if you pay then your pastor should love you.
We try.
No, your pastor should love you because pastors love people who pay tax.
That was Aklebo with Food for Thought. It's 2 minutes past 8 here on your Super Morning Show on Joy 99.7 FM. I'm going to read to you a random